everyone. We want to welcome you today to the We Are Flora Pearl podcast. I am your host, Latasha J. Humphrey, founder of the Flora Pearl Foundation, Incorporated. I'm super pumped to get into this podcast today. But before we get started, we want to let our audience know that this podcast is being brought to you by the Flora Pearl Foundation, where our vision is bridging the gap, building a legacy. Our mission is that we are a 501c3 community-focused nonprofit mentoring organization building healthy relationships and partnerships between women and girls through education, community service, networking, unification, and career planning. Our inspiration is Flora Pearl Humphrey. She was my paternal grandmother, and what she taught me and my family was about faith, family, and community. And that is where I draw my inspiration from. Now, audience, I have the pleasure of introducing you to a woman who I had the opportunity to meet this summer. She has such a sweet peace about her. There's just this peace. And she's very in tune with who she is. And that is what I admire most about her. She loves her family and is truly going places. You will want to remember her name because you will see it and hear it again and again. Mark my words. So without further ado, I present to you Miss DANCY. How are you doing, Miss Dee?
I am doing good. How are you?
Perfect. Now, if you would, go ahead and just briefly introduce yourself to our audience.
I am Miss D DARONA, D DANCY. I am a head fellow, and I got the lovely opportunity of working with Ms. Humphrey with the summer program, and loved every minute of it.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. Well, Miss Lady, it is such an honor to have you with us today. And so I want to jump right into it. Just what you even mentioned about being a HES fellow. If you would, just share with our audience even more about that and, just how you even came into that.
Yes. So HES Fellowship is the internship that my college offers, Birmingham Southern, and there are a lot of applicants, and it's very rigorous. It's over 100 students apply, and this year it was only like 12 to 15 of us, and we're stationed all across the nation. So some people are serving in New York, Washington, Pennsylvania, everywhere. I stay local because I am a single parent mom, and so I got the lovely opportunity, and the heads are known across the world. They are the owners of the Parisians. I don't know how many of y'all listeners remember Parisians, but yeah, it's a lovely opportunity. Lovely opportunity.
Oh, perfect. So, if you had to, I guess like sell it to some people or even some people who may be interested in it, what would you tell them about it? Like how to even get involved?
I think it's strictly at VSC. So first, get enrolled into Birmingham Southern. Second, be active in your community. Have a passion and know wholeheartedly that it is your passion, and fight for what you believe in. Become an activist in a way and get known in the community and around the campus, and get really in tune with the faculty that's over it, because that really helps. And stay on top of your GPA, because there is a GPA requirement in order to apply.
Okay. All right. Well, if you would share, Ms. Dee, what are some ways that you're giving back to the community?
So one way I did give back was through a nonprofit, United Community Center, in their food pantry, and I would help pick up the food, load the food on the van, unload the food on the van, and kind of get their data together when they're servicing their clients.
Okay.
And so that's one way I gave back. Currently, I give back by giving my time to me. But yeah, I love community involvement, and I always whenever you're out, just speak to people, because a simple hey can change somebody's whole day, and that's community outreach. And it's not I gotta be here at this time, and that it's not structured. It's just being a good community neighbor.
That's right. No, perfect. And I wanted to touch on that. I know you mentioned you being a single mom, and so I do want to celebrate you because I had the opportunity, of course, I just heard you talk about your babies a lot this past summer, and you're truly raising some amazing little people. And, now, of course, being a single mother, it can be a common type thing, and kind of get pushed to the side. And there are a lot of different stereotypes that some can be quite demeaning, to be honest. And it's kind of like it may be this norm, and accolades are not really given, I believe, when it comes to balance, because it is something that, yeah, you're a part of, and it's a part of you, but there also takes a balance in providing a healthy atmosphere, not only for yourself but also for your household. And so I wanted you to share, and being a single mom, just how what are your thoughts about, single motherhood. And I know there's single parents period, but I'm more so focusing on single motherhood right now. And just if you could share at least, some things about it. What are your thoughts, but also about what I just said? How do you balance? What are some things you like people to know about you balancing being a single mother?
Question of the year. It's seasonal. It really is. Like when the kids are in school, it's a little bit easier because you have more of a routine schedule. But summertime balance is like, oh my goodness, but it's a lot. So I have three little ones, two girls and a boy, and each one of them are uniquely different.
Right.
So each one of them have different needs that they have from me. Like my daughter needs me to be vocal. My son doesn't really need me to be vocal with him, but he needs me to just be there with him. So I think knowing the different types of needs that they have helps me balance giving them what they need most in that aspect. And then of course there's me. Like if I don't take care of me, I can't pour anything into them. And so like I'm learning and like really, really owning like, hey, I have to take care of me first. And it's not in a selfish way. And I know you said it's like it's demeaning. Yeah, a lot of times people will talk about parents getting the child support and spending it on themselves, but not realizing like, hey, we didn't do this by ourselves. And if we do need extra financial help to help us get this balance, it's something that we need, and it shouldn't be, looked at as like you just,
Yeah.
That's the domestic side I see with it. But yeah, keeping that balance is critical.
Yeah. And one of the ways, and I know you and I have shared some things as it relates to just balancing period, and really we share similar views as it relates to energy and meditation. And so how do you incorporate that even into your daily practices and routines?
Yes, I meditate daily, and most of the time in the morning. If not all the time in the morning. Sometimes my mornings get a little brush and I get setback. But yeah, I like to listen to music when I meditate, and it's very calming. I get down on the ground, and I prefer, like, I like when I meditate outside, which is a little bit odd, but I like being in touch with nature when I meditate. I like hearing the birds sing. I like the sounds, and it kind of helps my mind, take my mind out of this natural plane and transcend and say, hey, this is going to be a beautiful day. This is going to be a peaceful day. I can do this. I will do this. I am successful. And just kind of give myself affirmations as I meditate. And then when I have to, all right, kids, let's get ready. Let's get ready. It makes it so much easier.
Yes, yes. No, I love being outside as well, so I totally understand. Just all of just like when you're saying the birds sing, and just that fresh air, and and as relates to meditating, that I agree with you on that. And I wanted to ask you, as it relates to energy, because even in the intro, like I said, you really you own who you are, you know who you are. And why do you believe knowing how to recognize who you are is important?
I believe everybody, I should believe it should be in classrooms. Like, we all are on this earth with a gift and a purpose.
Yes.
We have to get in tune with who we are in order for us to deliver that gift and that purpose. And so it's very critical that I say, hey, I need this look. Now the energies flow through your chakras, and so you have to really know what each chakra means and what you're lacking in. Like my throat chakra, I'm not being vocal enough.
Yeah.
My heart chakra, not letting love flow enough. And knowing that you will be perfect in one area and you'll have defaults and deficiencies in other areas, and knowing like, hey, I need to strengthen this part of me, this part of my energy, in order for me to better fulfill my purpose, better fulfill my gift, better fulfill. It's critical. You have to know who you are. Otherwise, people will tell you who you are, and you'll believe them, and you'll have this mindset that's not your own. It's something somebody's fed you and told you.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. That's some good stuff. All right now. Ooh, perfect, perfect. Well, we're gonna to move into the topic as relates to support systems. And so I wanted you to well, first I want to ask you, do you believe that support systems are necessary?
Yes, villages still make the world go round. Like,
Okay.
yes.
Yes. And how do you feel that we can create, effective and efficient support systems for both women and girls?
Communication. What
Okay.
you do is lovely. Being able to pour into the women and say, I'm going to take you and I'm going to mentor you and I'm going to show you, hey, this is something that I've been through. This is something I can help you through. Is perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. We need that. Need it.
Perfect. Awesome. And, we do have a Will to Win Institute, which is our program. And we cater to young women and girls and really have the opportunity to impact their lives. And the most recent class we had, they were all African American girls. And so they had the opportunity to go through the 9 months and then complete the program for the year of 2018, 2019. And so being an African American woman yourself, Ms. Dee, what are some key pieces of advice that you would give to those young women and girls?
Love yourself. Know that you're beautiful. Know that, hey, we in this together and we have a strength that nobody on this earth carries. Like, we are it.
Okay, wait a minute. All right, now you get some brown skinned girl type of feels here. Woo! Yes, 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 yes. Okay, now look. No, I am loving it. I'm loving it. And yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I wanted to segue into our segment, This Relationship Matters. And of course, you had the opportunity to read my book. And so I thank you for it. And I wanted you to kind of just share, some things that stuck out to you, Miss Dee.
I love your book. I love how intentional you were about saying this book will be used to help, because after every chapter it's like, hey, write this down. How do you feel about this? Evaluate yourself. I love that, and that resonated with me. And you talked about so much. Then you talked about creating this generational wealth, and I'm like, yes, babies, yes, creating a legacy. I love the book, and it was such a quick read. Because we are single parent moms, it's like, okay, I don't want to have something that's too daunting to add to already my daily task. And just being able to say, hey, this is something that I can read, get an affirmation, be able to evaluate. It was perfect.
Yes, yes. Well, I appreciate it so much. You really blessed me. Both you and Miss Lindsay, like we had the opportunity to really talk about it, and it was just really cool. And so I definitely I appreciate you for sharing, because and it's a beautiful thing, and that's something that I shared before. I said that when you are intentional about something and it really serves the purpose, the people who get the opportunity to read it or to, to just be inspired by it, that's what truly happens. So when you set an intent, it's a beautiful thing to know that you can truly do that in anything that you do. And then when it comes back in the manifestation, it shows itself to be what you set out to do. Then that's what is really cool. So I thank you so much for sharing. And I do want to ask you, what has your mother taught you about yourself?
Yes. So me and my mom, honestly, my mom is an RN, and so her schedule, she worked at night while I was young, and then slept during the day.
Okay.
So I'm just now really getting a chance to build this motherly bond, like after I've had my own kid, and like be able to say, you know what, mom, even though she wasn't able to come to every event. I mean, she had to sleep and get ready to work a 12-hour shift or a 16-hour shift. And I think back then I harbored so much resentment towards her for that in a way, because I was like, my mama can't even be here and she got to go to work. But now I know the importance of her work. Like, she was given to other people who needed it. And I think my maturity and knowing that that's what she had to do allowed me to see that, hey, she's pouring into me, and that's why I have the heart that I have. Honestly, that loving, that caring, that giving heart, that saying, hey, I want to pour into other people because there's such a need, and and really owning it and sacrificing and making it happen is really what she taught me.
That is pretty awesome. Because to get to this space, where I'm sure there had to be forgiveness there, just really appreciating what she did give and that she gave you what she knew to give. You know what I mean? And to get to this space where, like you said, one way or the other, that you learned something from her, and then now you're able to how you want to parent your girls. You took something from that and then you turned it into a positive. And how important is that, do you feel, for you to have done that?
Very. The healing process is real. It's real. It's very important, because otherwise my kids wouldn't have a relationship with their grandmother if they don't see me loving their grandmother. And that is important.
What would you say to someone who they haven't quite gotten there, as it relates to healing?
It takes time, and it has to be something that you want. It can't be something that somebody say, oh, you need to. Nobody can force you to like anybody, and it takes time and it takes open communication. Like, me and my mom, we talk. Like, hey, mom, like, remember that time? La, 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 la. I used to be mad about it, but now I see why. And being able to have that open space of saying, you know what, that wasn't my reason for doing that, and giving her the chance to explain her point of view versus me casting my thoughts and making it the truth. And it's really not the truth. It's just my one truth. And, you have to be open, being open.
So openness, and like you said about that communication, like, that's very important. That's some good stuff. That's good stuff. And so just with those two things, I know those are some things that, like you said, openness and being able to communicate, and like you said, being willing. And I'm one to always say, for any relationship to grow, it takes two willing people, or, just period, no matter what the relationships are. What are some small things that you believe that mothers and daughters could practice daily to strengthen the bond?
Dance parties. Me and my dad got dance party all the time. Like,
really?
Yes. Dance party. Like, we just turn on the song and we just dancing. And you know what? After we dance, they're so willing to share with me. I don't have to sit across the room staring at them. Like, what you doing today? How was your day? We turn on some music, loosen it up, like, we feeling good, and then here's what happened today, mama. And I'm just like, wow. Like,
That's some good stuff, girl. Look. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Oh, I love it. Yes, that is great. Oh, wow. Good stuff. Good
Yes.
stuff. All right, lady. Well, we're going to segue into our segment called Getting to Know You. And
All right.
so there will be a series of questions that I'll ask, and you may answer with a one word, it may be a one liner, or you may have more of an explanation for it. And so, are you ready?
Yes.
Perfect. Do you
I'm ready.
usually arrive early or late?
Late, to be honest.
Okay, all right. When you just talk about music and songs, what songs have you completely memorized?
Oh, a lot of them, especially like old. I was just listening to Old School Trey, his first album.
Uh-oh.
Knew everything.
Okay, okay. What keeps you grounded?
Oh, keeps me grounded. Love,
Okay,
love, keeps me grounded.
good stuff. What do you hope never changes?
What do I hope never changes? Community. I hope we never lose community.
Okay. What website do you visit most often?
Amazon.
All right. What is the last thing that you binge watched?
I don't even watch TV hardly. Last thing I binge watched had to have been The 100.
What did you say? Excuse me.
The 100.
Okay. What is the best way to start your day?
Meditation.
What is the best single day of the calendar?
Oh, Friday. Any Friday on the calendar.
All right. What are some things that you had to unlearn?
Not trusting anyone. I've
Okay.
unlearned that.
Okay. Good stuff. How different was your life 1 year ago?
Oh, I have gotten more confident.
Good stuff. What city would you like to live in?
I'll say Denver.
Okay. What is the most impressive thing you know how to do?
Multitask.
All right. What fictional place would you like to go?
Wakanda.
Why did I know? Wakanda forever. Why did I know you was gonna... I love it.
I want to go.
Don't want to go there. I want to go. Okay. Where do you usually go when you have time off?
Apart.
Okay. What advice would you give to a woman with a broken heart?
Oh, get in that mirror and get some affirmations.
Okay. What is something that every woman should try once in her lifetime?
Oh, another race.
Okay. All right. I'm not fooling with you. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Only Miss Dee. Only Miss Dee. What question? What question? Wait a minute. I gotta get myself together. That was so good. You threw me off, though. You threw me off. Okay. What question do you wish more people would ask you?
Oh, uh, what's my? I don't know. What's one question I wish more people would ask me? Uh, that's a tough one. That might be the toughest one.
Okay.
Uh, I would say how I'm doing, just to keep it simple.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
All right. Well, good stuff. Well, this is the last one. Where would you like to visit if you could go anywhere?
Ghana.
Okay. Excuse me. We're going to move into our faith segment. And so this is an opportunity for you to share, about your faith, a time when your faith has been tested and how you came through it. Because a lot of times people may know, we go through something that may be similar, but the how you come through it part is sometimes left out. So if you would share how your faith has been tested and how you came through it.
Yes. So I'm Christian raised, but I do like meditation. So I'm like a blend. I'm a Christian spiritual blend, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
But one time that stands out to me in particular is I'm a domestic violence survivor. So the moment I said that this will never happen again was really my introduction to my faith walk, because I think before that moment I was trying to be so much of this Jesus fanatic, this person who loves everybody no matter what, unconditional, willing to take everything, and it was a mess because I had to realize, like, I do deserve royalty. I do deserve, and I think that faith walk, that moment taught me my most growth, really, and it really empowered me to say, God loves me the same way he loves everybody else, and I have to take care of who I am in order for me to still be here. I mean, it was a life-death situation, so that was really a wake-up call in my faith walk.
Okay.
And how did I overcome relying on other people? Because I think we think we're so strong. We're a strong Black woman. We can take anything, and you have to open up and say, this is a resource that's offering help. Like the YW helped me so much during that time, because being able to be in a room with other people who have experienced the same thing gave me the liberty to say, hey, that happened to me too. And it gave me the healing that I needed to say, I'm not in this by myself. So building that community and that network of saying, we're like-minded, we're going through the same situation, I can't feel embarrassed. Because a lot of times, people won't tell you their story, and they look at you like you stupid, you dumb for sticking around, and you feel that negative energy too. And so you have to get in a space where you have people who are experiencing what you're experiencing in order to come out of it together.
Yeah. And I wanted to ask you with that, Ms. Didi, thank you for even opening up to share, excuse me, about being a survivor. And when did you know, like, it was just time?
So my domestic violence was strangulation. So that's when I knew, because yeah, I almost blacked out, like, pretty serious. I realized, like, hey, this guy doesn't value your life at all. Like, he's willing to literally kill you.
Yeah.
For a car, right?
That's
yeah.
deep, though.
So yeah. So that in itself, being near that near death situation where it's like, talking about it now, it almost feels like an out of body experience. It was like I was there, but I wasn't there. Because I remember, like, just crying out, saying, like, okay, God, like, I'm going to have to do something, but you're going to have to show me what to do. Because you still love them in that moment. Mm-hmm. And so it's like you don't want to hurt them, but at the same time, you have to realize I'm lovable too. And he's going to kill me. Right. So, yeah, that really was that moment of, girl, what you doing?
Right. Yeah. As you said, it's like a talk to yourself. And what can you share with those people? Like you said, some people are insensitive and they're kind of like, why did you stay? Or, and what can you, say to those people to make them understand, I guess? And I know some people are just, they're just act out of ignorance with some of the things that they say. I mean, but what could you say to them to help them to understand more?
would just say, don't assume that the person is stupid. Be willing to say, or share a similar time where you did something foolish before you judge that other person. Just say, you know what, girl, I was so in love with this dude. It might not have been a domestic violence situation. It might have just been a dude that was just a bad dude for you. And say, you know what, I was in a situation and it wasn't as severe as yours. Be honest always. Like, if you don't have that experience, don't make nothing up. But share, be open. Don't be so quick to say, girl, I never do something like that. Right. Because you never know. 10 years from now, who knows what you'll be doing, you know? So just being open.
That's good. And what can you say to that woman who may have been in a situation, or may be right now, let's say right now, just in a situation, and she's contemplating like whether she should leave or not. Maybe she hadn't got quite to, like you said, that part where you were just like, it was just that moment, like my life is in danger, let me go, before even getting to that, and they see that it's a issue, like something's wrong. What can you say to that woman to encourage her to leave?
Trust your intuition.
Okay.
There are always red flags. Trust your intuition and say, I have to take a leap. If not for your life, if there are kids involved, for your kids' life. Even if you can't see yourself being valued right now, do it for somebody that you do love and you see the effects on them.
Yeah. And you know, my mom, what you just said, that's what she dealt with. And she said that for her, herself, she said she heard, you know, just God, she felt like God was speaking to her and saying, you know, if it were just you, that would be different. But this is your daughter's here. Like, she doesn't deserve that. And she said that's what she heard. And that's where it was just like, okay, it's time. So that's why, you know, you even saying that, I'm just like, wow.
Yes.
You know, because that's what God, I think for her, if it were just her, she probably would have stayed longer. But you know, it really was like, you know, she doesn't deserve it.
Wow.
You know, and I never experienced my father hitting me, but you know, the whole that mental of even just knowing, like, I don't recall all the situations that they went through. My mom, she verified some things recent. But well, just throughout the times when I've asked her and had conversations about different things, but it really was just like, just her saying, you know, this is what happened, and some things is like, you know, the effects of it. Just remember certain stuff. I'm kind of grateful. I think on some instances not remembering different stuff, but with it, you know, I've since, of course, he's deceased now, and just having to go through the process of forgiving and things like that. So I know, like, when you talk about even with your kids, I'm sure, you know, just to get to that space, and they have to go through that process, you know, of forgiving and just releasing and being able to move forward. So, and, you know, as well as, like you said, you know, gone through the process as well, or just, you know, working through that. And so yeah, thank you for sharing that. That means a lot.
I'm welcome.
Perfect. Well, we're going to move into our closing segment, and it's called Matters of the Heart Moment. And so, Miss Didi, if you had the opportunity to speak to your younger self, what would you say to her?
Don't be so stubborn.
Ah! Now, why do you say that? Look, somebody.
I grew up like a know-it-all. Like, I made good grades in school, and that was my main, like, job. In my mind, I was like, you can't tell me nothing because I just aced that test, and I just had this big head. Like, you can't tell me nothing. Nope, it's going to be my way. And like, even when people was like, girl, you too good for him. You too good. No, because I love him.
Right.
Don't be so stubborn. Like, listen to people because they got your back. It ain't always about you.
Right. What you said ain't always about you.
Hey, that's what I was telling my youngest self.
Oh, Miss Didi, I didn't know you were a know-it-all, girl. Look.
Yes. Yes.
She said, I just knew everything. I knew what I was doing. Love it, love it. Yeah, well, so it's all of us at times. I don't care, even if we don't want to admit it. There are times where we just feel like, oh, we know what we doing. It's like you really don't know what you're doing, but okay, okay, then I'm gonna let you do all of that by yourself.
Right.
Oh, I love it, I love it. Okay, what inspires you, or who inspires you? Let me say that.
Who inspires Michelle Obama? She inspires me.
Okay.
She really does. My aunt inspires me.
Mm,
Yes.
perfect. Who?
Yes.
What motivates you?
My children. They're my biggest motivation.
Okay. And you have any last minute piece of advice that you want to share?
Send out love always, even when it's hard. Because that's what returns back to you.
It's good. It's good. Yeah, love is a beautiful thing. It really is. It does so much to heal, to, just that freedom. When you talked earlier about the heart chakra, and even with that, it's just kind of it's something. When it flows, it flows. So it's beautiful. That's good stuff. Awesome. Well, Miss Dee Dee, this truly has been a pleasure. And I want to thank you so much for being with us today and sharing with us.
Oh, I thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Thank you. You're welcome. Perfect. Perfect. And our goal at the Flora Pearl Foundation is to always be a blessing to all of those that we come in contact with by operating with the spirit of excellence. We want to thank you all so much for listening today. And you can visit our website at www.florapearlfoundation.org. We look forward to talking to you all soon. Keep shining.